Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 1. It's a ladder game going down on Frost. It's a Protoss versus Protoss and it's between two Grandmaster players. Spawning up in the top left position as the red Protoss, it is Powell. And his opponent up in the top right, the blue Protoss player, MaNa. Representing, of course, Mouse, and Pal is on max flow. So, two good Protoss players, both GM on EU this game was played out on. So, pretty good quality game. Interested to see what sort of strategies they're going to be going for. Frost is a big map, right? We don't have to hide the fact that this is a large map with basically a lot of areas through. They are in the cross-spawn positions though, which means that this top path and also this watchtower are going to be pretty critical to getting information about what your opponent's doing. Also in these spawn positions, it's worth noting that there's quick air rush distances, so you can get units coming in and through, harassing up, so hypothetically an Oracle play is viable. You can also proxy that quite nicely as well with a nice little spot up here that you can get it proxied down on if you do know where your opponent's spawning. Unlikely to be proxied though, and that's because all four spawn positions are viable and therefore you don't know where your opponent is, you'd have to scout incredibly early. Now, the other thing to note about this map is your natural base actually isn't too hard to take. You've got a quite narrow entrance there, you can hold it off, defend it relatively easily, but you are a little bit vulnerable to blink stalkers. There is a huge amount of area where blink stalkers can come up and in. Specifically, I'd be concerned about this sort of area, so putting a pylon at the edge of your base here could give you that advanced information that you need just if something's going to be moving up, although don't put it too close to the edge because then it can get sniped. I think somewhere about like here is a good spot to put it because then you're out of range of stalkers even if they've got high ground visions unless they come out onto the high ground itself. So, with that said, what kind of openings can we be expecting? Well, for the moment, we've got MaNa getting up his second gas. Pal is still sitting on just the one assimilator for the time being. That means that this isn't a huge tech commitment yet. If that second gas is delayed too much longer, I'm definitely going to be expecting to see some additional gateways thrown down fairly fast, and that's because you're going to be getting some pressure on. With two probes in each gas geyser here, for MaNa, he's just going to be getting the mothership core down nice and quick. This is a very normal opening, very safe. MaNa's also scouting a lot earlier, a little bit later than his opponent. Pal's already scouted all this out, knows what's coming. I didn't realize that probe was out there. Pal is also getting up that second gas now, going to get scouted. This should mean that they'll end up roughly in a similar spot in terms of gas. Obviously MaNa has slightly more because he is going up to 3 and 3 a little bit quicker as well as getting on that second gateway. Just going to be trying to make things a little bit safe. Sees of course as well, the Pal is chrono boosting down that cybernetics core and that's an important scout to have. Warp gate tech is now going to be rushed out as quickly as possible and that's prompted even before then, just with the one gas, MaNa say, okay, I need to play this a little bit more safely. I need to actually get down this second gateway in case it's going to be, say, some 3-gate pressure, 4-gate pressure, something like that. It's always going to be a concern, especially when you haven't seen the mothership core start coming or being produced yet. Now, Powell's sitting here, just with the Zealot, trying to stop this poor little probe from escaping. The probe will manage to just get out, though. 1 HP for the win, and that's a shout-out to one of my regular Twitch viewers. His name is 1 HP for the win, which is definitely cool. If you get away with that, you're always going to be happy. So, Stargate coming down here now from Powell. So, as I said earlier, with this rush distance, it's quite easy to get in, but look at this pylon placement from MaNa. He's going to see anything that comes into his base, just with a little bit of an early warning system. So, the question is really going to be, what are we going to get out from this Stargate? Voidway, Phoenix, Oracle, all potential options, but most likely I personally think that it's going to be either an Oracle or a Phoenix. Voidways are good, but considering the rally point is over to his opponent's base, sending that Voidway over all on its lonesome isn't going to be that strong. There are 2 additional gateways coming out, and there we go. Phoenix are going to be on the cards. This gives a lot of harassment potential, a lot of map control. Mothership cores have to be careful, etc., especially when the Phoenix count starts getting a bit higher. But with the 2 additional gateways, MaNa, he's only sitting on 2 gates compared to 3 gates of production, but he's got his Nexus on its way out. There's no Nexus yet being taken for Pow, just checking around everywhere with this mothership core. The Phoenix is going to make its way over here, but one Phoenix isn't scary. Obviously can't really kill anything because it obviously can't lift and shoot. That would be incredibly overpowered. But yeah, for the moment, we've got Pow now, getting out a few additional stalkers. Setting this one Phoenix in is quite interesting. Just getting a scout really is the only benefit you get from that Phoenix being there. Okay, what have we got? Oh, a mass recall will come down, but a stalker dies. Good control there from Pow. Getting a stalker for absolutely nothing is obviously going to be really solid and a little bit detrimental in honesty to what MaNa's trying to do, because MaNa losing that stalker is now sitting at half the stalker count. He's got a little less production. He doesn't have the Phoenix either out, so he's got a tech disadvantage. He's desperately trying to add on a couple more gateways. Going to be going up to 4, as well as that Twilight Council. But Powell, he's pushing forward. Remember, with these 2 lifts available, he can actually shut down a lot of force field potential. He can shut down a good chunk of the Stalker army. And by a good chunk, I mean he can take out 2/3 of it with those Phoenix alone. He's got high ground vision granted by 2 Phoenix and the Mothership Core. And MaNa now forced to cancel that Nexus, meaning the Pow should finish his up slightly sooner. Meanwhile, over at MaNa's base, he's busy getting down that Blink upgrade, so his Stalkers will have higher macro potential going into the later game. And also we see MaNa putting down 2 proxy pylons ready for some potential counter-attacking, something to be keeping an eye out for. But Powell also getting a proxy pylon at his opponent's natural. He does cancel it though at the last second, so just sees a bit too much stuff here. I believe that he's also seen the Twilight Council, so he knows that's coming down. He knows there's the 4 gates, and the pressure really has to come off now. He's got to retreat, and the reason for that retreat is just because army supply-wise, MaNa is going to start pulling ahead. But Powell, he's got a good tech upgrade. He's got his robotics facility on its way. He's already got that Stargate. The Stargate, admittedly, currently has only produced the 3 Phoenix, but if these units move out, like MaNa's Mothership Core there was vulnerable. If Pal had gone in, he could have potentially got a couple of shots off on him, maybe picked it off. But again, these are just little bits of harassments coming through. MaNa running these Zealots away to the corner, hiding them for a later date. The Nexus for Pal is also on its way, and he's now starting the Void Ray production. That's a smart choice, getting these Void Rays. That Void Rays deal very well against Stalkers if they've got support, as do Immortals. Blink Stalker Void Ray up, Immortal Void Ray up against Blink Stalkers is going to be a very strong composition. The sort of composition that actually Pal is going to be able to win the game with if we don't see MaNa transition out of it. Because remember, MaNa's natural as well is considerably later. Powell's mining off of this natural for a long time after Powell forced it to cancel. Those Phoenix did rack up a kill there. Only 2 workers have been killed this game so far, but both of them are on Powell's side. He's got a nice little chunk advantage in terms of the drone count. I know 4 probes doesn't seem like the largest amount, but it's small advantages that are going to make a big difference to any PvP, any mirror matchup. And now the Phoenix racking up a couple more kills, keeping that advantage looking really solid, slowly getting bigger. And it just needs to keep going this way. All while it keeps racking up kill after kill, keeping the pressure on, keeping MaNa back, Powell can just go about whatever he wants. He's adding on gateways, adding on more tech, getting out more Immortals, and he still knows, because the Phoenix have been coming in, that there isn't too much of an answer to this. Yes, there's the Templar Archives, which will allow for some Archons to come out, for some feedbacks as well, but that's not too scary when you've got this sort of army coming together. The Void Rays are starting to, well, there's only the 1 Void Ray at the moment. I'd like to see a bit more in terms of the Void Ray count, but Powell slightly starved in terms of gas and mineral income. Also, a small amount of supply block here, but he is rectifying that pretty quickly. Upgrades are going to be playing a more important part of this game as things go on. Currently, he's got the +1 on the way down for MaNa, whereas +1 is just now starting for Powell. So Powell needs to make sure that he's chrono boosting. Powell also getting down charge. Now, bear in mind, the charge against Blink is going to lead to some interesting things, but oh, nice feedback there on the Phoenix. Nearly managed to take it out, but not quite. But yeah, charge just going to allow the distance to get closed up, meaning that the Blink Stalkers are going to have a bit more of a tough time getting away, blinking back. Also, the Void Rays are going to be able to deal a lot of damage to them with the aid of the Immortals too. So, the Stalkers for MaNa aren't in the best position possible, especially when he's down by 5 workers and has been for a while. In terms of how that affects income, we can just see that actually there's about a 200 mineral income lead at the moment for Powell, and it's been that way for quite a while. He's getting himself into a good spot. He's also adding on, ooh, a lot more gateways. He's actually going up to 7 gates now. So 7 gates may not seem like a huge number, but okay, he's now going up to 8 gates. 8 gates, sorry, still 7 gates. There we go, 8 gates are on their way. So this is all fine. 8 gates are coming down. This is pretty much all in off of 2 bases now. 8 gates, a lot of Zealots are going to get warped in pretty soon. Mainly because charge is coming down, it makes sense. We've also got charge on its way for MaNa, but that probably won't be done by the time this push hits, because optimal timing of this will just be Powell moving out when he's got those additional gateways down. He's also getting the Warp Prism, and the reason he needs this Warp Prism is because there isn't a proxy pylon down on the map anywhere around here. There's only this Phoenix just chilling, can't obviously make a pylon. Oh, the Lyco died. That was painful. The Stalker's getting moved back. They see a big army. They see charge slots. They see a lot of Immortals and that Void Ray. It's quite scary to deal with this. And this is actually where MaNa needs to be very cautious, because this push moving out now is going to be pretty scary. The Nexus coming down behind it. Now, getting that Nexus just means that this push loses a good chunk of momentum. Pal's also getting up a lot of gas. Needs to find a way to spend that. One of those ways is through this Templar Archives that's coming through. The Warp Prism should be about to join up with the army. Another big wave of Warpins going to be able to come down. Note there's going to be the option to warp in a couple of High Templar, and those High Templar could become Archons, and the Archons will make this army suddenly so much more powerful. Pal, luckily noticing that his Warp Prism moving very far forward there, and boom, there we go. High Templar and a couple more Zealots coming through. We'll see 2 Archons made out of this, most likely, or at least we should see a couple of Archons made. There we go. Pal also trying to trade down some Proxy Pylons. The Proxy Pylon for MaNa just out of range is seeing that Nexus. Very unfortunate. If he knew that was there, that'd be a good little tell, because currently MaNa still thinks this is 2 bases, and he probably thinks from his scanning information that, okay, he's getting a lot of stuff down here. I need to be very cautious with what's coming. Pal moving up into the high ground with his probe. Hero probe gets a scout out. What is the size of this army? Can I engage it? The trouble for Pal moving up are these rocks. He needs to try and take those out, but if he moves up, force fields, if the Archons aren't in a good spot, can be a bit of a problem. But those Archons will obviously being massive units across the force fields, and you can just get straight through. But regardless, you want to take out these rocks, because even with them there, even if the force fields aren't a problem, there's a better attack arc available for MaNa. So, just playing this all nice and safe. 1 High Templar, apparently coming down for a party, does get a feedback on the Mothership Core, killing it. Great little play there. We've also got the Zealot Warping up in the main base, and Pal is doing some good damage now. He is forcing a Photon Overcharge from MaNa, but the Zealot count up here is pretty damn high. There was a lot of Zealots in the base. Yes, the Warp Prism goes down, but the Nexus, I think, probably will fall too if the charge was focused in. There we go. Will go down. That puts MaNa down to just 1 base's worth of economy, but critically, only 1 base's worth of gas. Meanwhile, Pal, he's sitting up with his 3rd Nexus getting created. Things looking very solid for the Maximo player. MaNa, this Immortal probably not going to fare the best against Zealots, but obviously with his own Zealots are going to be helping him out there, making things look a bit better. Another Immortal about to pop out, and yeah, I'd say this game is really quite heavily at the moment in Pal's favour. He's only up by 3 workers though, so it's not a 1 game by any means, but it's the difference in gas that's making the big things, because that means more Archons, more Immortals, more Void Rays, more gas-heavy units, strong units to deal with what MaNa's going to be throwing at Pal. Pal, though, he's 10 army supply up. MaNa's got to be careful moving up here. Going to be trying to go for the engagement. Can he take it? There is a good spread of these units for the time being. A couple of units coming down from the side. Don't want to get that taken out. Time Warp being utilized at the moment. I believe that is MaNa's Time Warp. Almost certainly, because that Mothership Core has 100 energy and it did die earlier. So, yeah. MaNa, trying to find an opportunity. Where can I move in? Is there anywhere I can get a little bit of advantage? This Observer placement really solid by Pal as well. He sees if MaNa tries to go up, and MaNa is going to be going for it now. Time Warp triggered by Pal this time, and the engagement is going down. A lot of these charge dots getting confused by the Warpin, so aren't able to engage, but still Pal just has such a tremendously larger army at this point in time. He is pushing through the force. The Archons getting taken down. Pal moving forward. The Immortals are desperately trying to flee, but everything just powering it out. MaNa, that was a really bad engagement for him, and GG is called, and I can't blame him. That would have been a very tough game to win after that point. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Make sure that you like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I get new games up daily, so I hope to catch you all tomorrow for yet another new cast. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.